nobody is indispensable in that sense, even though the functions, the duties, the talents, the skills that Pranab Mukherjee really had as an active politician are going to be very, very difficult to replace. We in fact had someone earlier today say that several different people would have to actually fill in those voids. Mr. Iyer, one of the things about this presidential election has been there's been an ugly side to it. There have been allegations against Pranab Mukherjee. There's been a measure of muckraking. People have accused him of forging documents. People have accused him of having a nasty underbelly to his ministership. And yet, at the end of it, this has been a fairly straightforward presidential poll, and the numbers turning out just the way the Congress and the UPA had thought they would.
Yes, it's certainly remarkable that the extent to which Pranab Mukherjee personally has mobilized support for himself goes far beyond the amount of support that the UPA as the UPA would have been able to mobilize for him. And if despite all these allegations that have been made, about 70% of the votes that have fallen in his favor, it does mean that people are dismissing these allegations as an example of sour grapes. And I'm very sad about it, because one of my favorite people in Indian politics is P A Sangma. I have a high regard for him. I have great affection for him. And I'm sorry that he's blotting his own copybook by pursuing issues which, if they were valid, needed to have been raised against a politician called Pranab Mukherjee and not a president of India called Pranab Mukherjee. Nevertheless, if Purno wishes to really spoil his record even further, there's nobody who can stop him. But I do not believe that any of these allegations that are being made have any validity, because if they had, I don't think he'd have been left to become president of India before they are brought forth. He's been a public man for the better part of 50 years.
Okay, Manishankar Iyer, you're saying that these allegations didn't really hold any water. Ms. Lekhi, thanks. You're back with us. I hope you can hear me now, Ms. Lekhi. Good evening. The question I asked you, Meenakshi Lekhi. Yeah, the question I asked you, Meenakshi Lekhi, about we've got Sunanda K. Dattare and Manishankar Iyer, who've already had their chance to say a few things this evening. The question I was asking you, Ms. Lekhi, was, would it have really hurt the BJP? I mean, the BJP has ended up being very gracious. The BJP party president has said that Pranab Mukherjee is the pride of the nation now that he's been named the president-elect. But, what has the BJP really gained from all of this, Ms. Lekhi? You've had your MPs cross-voting en masse in Karnataka. Things have gone differently in other states. Your allies have turned against you on your choice of president. Would it have really been such a big deal to go with consensus on Pranab Mukherjee? Not a rhetorical question. I'm asking you what you think.
No, it is a rhetorical question, because we are a principled opposition, and opposition to the UPA policies, whose finance minister happened to be Mr. Pranab Mukherjee. And again, picking the words from what Mr. Iyer has to say, that it is an opposition to Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, the politician, and not the president. My congratulations to the president. At the same time, the manner in which these elections have been fought, some of the very valid points have been made by Mr. Sangma, and the manner in which Mr. Pranab Mukherjee has conducted himself does not really, I don't think, is appropriate to say that the President of India should conduct elections in this manner. I call it unfair, because if the code of conduct applies to even a smallest election of the corporator or the MLA or anybody, now this is a presidential election, budget session is over in March, and thereafter you announce budgeting benefits to UPA, UP and Bihar and such places. Now that is one part of the story. The second part of the story is the Office of Profit Business, where his name appears on the website. The manner in which resignation has happened is not meeting the eye. Third point, is that even when he was not the minister, he had resigned from the ministership, he was contesting the election as an individual of the President of India. He was given a protocol which behoves that of the President. He travelled in the Air Force aircraft, travelled to Trembekara Air Force Base in Tamil Nadu, and there he accepted Guard of Honor. I think I as a person would be ashamed of doing those things.